Over the coming weeks, the Budget Committee will review the staff budget. The committee will build on the public consultation process. I will be listening very closely to Torontonians about what matters to them. And then on February 1st, I will introduce my budget, the mayor's budget.
Whenever I hear her talk, it sounds like a chalkboard in your nails to me, okay? It just, I inherited this. It's sort of like, wow, you knew what you were getting into. I mean, Brynn, you and I look at something like that, and it's sort of like, which we don't have the clip buzz, and I want to talk to you about this, is the fact that she's already said property taxes in Toronto, 10.5%, okay? But she said she's going to take it to 16.5% unless the federal government gives her $250 million. So she's blackmailing Trudeau in his biggest riding of Toronto for Liberals.
I mean, that part I'm into.
I'm sorry, the balls on that is just, it's insane.
But you know what? I mean, a few things here. One, she told us what she was going to do. We all knew this. When she won, it was like, well, here we go. And the reality is Toronto was very, quote unquote, undertaxed. That said, the whole messaging here, her voice notwithstanding, every line is so strategic. Every single thing there is, she's doing a bit of a game of chicken with the feds because trying to get them to kick in. And they should kick in more. I just don't know that this is the hill I would die on this early. To actually be talking 16.5%, like there is no way in which we're not going to see that. I think we're going to see a huge property tax increase. Pretending it's consultative, well, who are you consulting with? Because even just the mandate you were given when you were voted in, that was pretty slim. And there were a lot of people who liked the previous administration. When you look at the budget shortfall, the budget has to balance every year. They don't have the opportunity to run a deficit like the province and like the feds. We're coming off of COVID. If you even just look, and we've talked about this before, at the cash cow that land transfer tax was during the run-up when we were having a gajillion transactions a year, just the loss of that year over year is substantial. Yeah. So to characterize it as a financial mess she inherited, implying that this was just mismanagement and suggesting that, her team has poured through the budget line by line and found efficiencies, that's not true. This is just politics.
Yeah, look, the secondary land transfer tax normally generated about $800 million to the city of Toronto. And, I do agree with your point regarding, COVID and the extra expenses, the lack of, income and, you take a look at the last year, low numbers in real estate transactionally. And so, yeah, she's lost a lot of money. What I take exception to is she's using Torontonians to blackmail the federal government. That's what she's doing. Now, she can sit there and paint it with whatever picture she wants to, whatever calculator she wants to use. But at this stage, I consider that pure blackmail by sitting there saying, well, if the government doesn't give me this money, I'm raising it 6.5. It's not like she's not looking for extra solutions. She's not doing enough to get more private entity, to create more real estate, to do more things. She's really not. And this is my problem with her and her administration. You know what? They're looking for the easiest low-hanging fruit, and they know that if they can put the federal government over the barrel, who is so low in the polls right now, that they're going to flinch. And all of a sudden, she's trying to get them to say, look at us. We gave $250 million to Toronto to help bail them out. We're a really good federal government.
Yeah. Well, I still kind of see it from the other side where I find the federal government ridiculous in that they have basically an open door. And I, obviously am pro-immigration. I understand that we have a refugee crisis. They're all arriving through federal government policies in the GTA. And they're using the shelter system. They're using city resources, but the feds are not paying for it. So this is part of what's in the city's budget. So I think there's that portion too, where we've got Freeland and Trudeau going out there saying, no, come one, come all, essentially. And, you're welcome here. And they're downloading that responsibility directly, and they're not paying for it. But the city is struggling where, for example, you've got during the election, Chow was going on, but she was going to open all the libraries on Sundays. In this budget, I believe it includes 2 libraries to be open on Sundays. Like, there's a lot of the stuff that's being said because as a city, there are services we expect that had to get clawed back because it just wasn't working. I don't see a lot of services being added to what we're, with this budget. I don't see, at least what's been discussed. You can say you're consulting. I think that it's a gamble. I think it's early to be going this hard because it's pretty much like we've seen this government doesn't like to flinch. So I'm curious to know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting about this whole thing, though?
I can't wait.
She didn't take a run at the province.
Oh, no. Well, not with the downloading of responsibilities for the gardener and the cherry place.
But that's the thing. She didn't take a run at the province. She left Ford alone because she knows that he's not going to pander to her crap about like she's forcing Liberal voters to do something and apply pressure to the federal government because it's a Liberal government. So she's kind of playing a really bad game of chicken because she didn't push anything onto the province on this one.
Well, what's funny is also she's sort of taking around at the Liberals, but Liberal voters stay Liberal. Like, that's the best part is she has more to lose than they do, because if they say no and they raise taxes, it looks like she's created this equation where from the people who vote Liberal, in spite of the ridiculousness of the last 3 years, they're going to continue to vote Liberal because it's their identity. I don't think her playing chicken and losing is going to make a difference.
Yeah. You know what? I think that we've got some different sheep wearing different costumes right now. I really do.
It's going to be interesting to happen.
And it's going to be interesting. And you know what? Here's I love doing predictions. I think the federal government's going to bend over. And I think they're going to sit there and write a check on the backs of the rest of us and turn around and try to bail out, a mayor that is not, tracking all the best solutions and just wants to continue to apply pressure. So yeah, great. So you're gonna save some taxpayers' money when it comes down to actually, when we talk about your typical, property tax, but you're gonna nail them from the other perspective, which of course is your income tax. Right. And you know what? This is all what we can look forward to in the future.
Sales tax. Let's not forget they're still talking about a sales tax. The budget chair comes out and talks about sales tax. So you're going to tell me that I have a small business where I sell a product that they sell on the other side of Steeles, that my customers are not just going to drive half an hour and buy it without the sales tax? Like, the myopic ideas going on right now is just mind-blowing to me. But I think we're just going to see it unfold. And the part that drives me insane is the media she gets a pass. If Tory had said any of these things, there would be undercover sting operations with David Ryder. We have everybody's being like, oh, okay. Oh, a consultative process. No one's saying, what will that be? She's going to get a pass because she does.
Wow. You know what? If you want to make a comment on these, I would love to hear from you. You know what? Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I got to tell you, this drives me nuts when you hear politicians talking like this. You know what? They put it all back on us, the consumer, the Canadian, no matter what. If they don't get you with property tax, they get you with income tax, sales tax, all of it, they're going to tax us to death. The only thing I always tell everybody here is to make sure you control your future. Don't count on the government for anything. Only count on yourself.